Welcome to this lesson. Now, last time I left you with an activity and as a policy. Okay, as a plan, we have to go through the activity so that you can confirm whether your answers were right or wrong. Okay, have a pencil. Push anything that can distract you. We want you to listen, understand this work, then you get promoted to the next classes. Because I hear most of you don't want to repeat, okay? So let's go through our previous activity. Question 1 was, let's read question 1. Okay, so I expect you to have a Stevenson screen is a wooden box where delicate weather instruments kept. Do I have someone who has passed that one? Very good. Let's see question number 2. Why should every weather station have an instrument shelter? Remember, another name for a Stevenson screen is an instrument shelter. So why should every weather station have that tool? To keep and protect delicate weather instruments. Do I have someone with that answer? Put there a tick. Question number 3. Give one reason why delicate weather instruments should be put in a Stevenson screen. Yes, to be protected from getting spoiled or to be protected from getting damaged. Okay? Now let's also go ahead to see question number 4. List 2 examples of delicate weather instruments. The instruments that are found in a weather station. I mean in a Stevenson screen. We have 1, barometer. We also have hygrometer. And we have 6's thermometer. That can also be called maximum and minimum thermometer. Remember, apart from the delicate weather instruments, there is also a tool that is found in a Stevenson screen, and that is a record book. Question number 5. Why is a Stevenson screen painted white color? To reflect sun rays in order to reduce heat. What about, why is it made out of wood? Wood is a bad conductor of heat. Remember, I told you, these instruments can be easily spoiled by too much heat. That's why we used the material that cannot allow them to be heated directly by the sun. Okay? I mean by sunshine. Let's go to the last question. I left you with a table, and this is a weather chart. So we have in which month was the weather recorded. Now you have to go to the side of the month. Which month was this one? October. Yes. Which day received the highest amount of rainfall? You have to check to go to the column of rainfall and see which one was highest. It was 100 millimeters. So on which day? That was a Tuesday. Lastly, how do you protect yourself against weather on Tuesday? What happened on Tuesday? It rained a lot. So how would you protect yourself? Of course, by staying indoor. It can be one of them. Or if you decided to move when it is raining, you carry an umbrella. So by using an umbrella. Do I have someone with everything correct? Now, today I declare you to be the king of SST P4 or to be the queen of SST even today. Pay attention, learn, and pass everything. Now, if you missed out some steps, please be honest, rate corrections. Now, what are we going to have today? 1, we are going to study about how weather determines the way we do things. Okay? We shall also learn about seasons in Uganda and the activities that people do in different seasons. Are we there? Now, without wasting time, today we are going to be a little fast. So, settle, don't look side and side. Look at the teacher, okay? Always focus, look at the teacher and listen to what the teacher is doing and saying. Session 1, influence of weather on people. Now, when we say influence, we simply mean change. Does weather make people dress the way they should dress? Does it force you to dress something that even you may not want to dress? We have to see that today. Now, I have a question for you. In which way does weather determine people's activities? How does weather determine what you have to do? Because sometimes it has to force you to follow in its program. Okay? Now, how does it determine people's activities? I'm waiting for your answer. Someone is scratching his head. Okay, let's see. First of all, influence of weather on human beings simply mean how does weather determine the way people do their things? Did you know that weather can determine the way a person has to dress up? Do you know the weather this way? You know why I'm wearing this jacket? It is because of weather. This way it is very cold. That's why you see me wearing this jacket. Maybe that way it is very, very hot, so you can't wear this jacket right there, okay? Now we are going to see, does weather affect human activities? Does it affect shelter? Does it affect the clothes we wear? Yes, it does. And the question is, how? Let's see. Now you can see different activities happening. Like during which weather do you think this lady is using to winnow? Do you just wake up and you say, I'm going to winnow? No. You have to wait for a certain type of weather. And which type of weather is this one? That is windy weather. So that means that if you want to winnow your seeds, you have to wait when it is windy. And you go and winnow. Are we there? So weather is determining your activity. Winnowing will be best done during windy weather. Are we there? You can also see my friend hanging his cloth or her cloth. Which weather do you think is that one? That should be sunny weather. So you find that people are going to wash their clothes during sunny weather because they want them to dry very fast. Okay? So now the question is, how does weather affect people's activities? I expect someone to say, people can winnow their seeds during windy weather. You can also say people can wash their clothes during sunny weather. Have you seen how weather has determined, has influenced the activities that people do at sometimes? We can also go ahead and see something here. Some people plant during rainy weather. You have to plant during rainy weather or during wet seasons, okay? Because it's one of the conditions that that can enable germination to take place. Now, I also have my friend under that is in the shade of that tree. You can imagine it is too hot. It is shining a lot. So my friend, I don't know which country he's from, but he looks to be a police officer, has taken a rest. It is shining a lot. So now what do? It is shining a lot. You don't have an umbrella. You have to seek for a shelter. Weather will force you to seek for a shelter. So when it shines a lot, we sit under trees or we sit in shades of the trees. Are we there? So how does weather affect or influence people's shelter? Some people sit under shades during sunny weather. What about when it's raining? Do you go under the shade? Do you sit under a tree? You get indoor. You go indoor when it is raining or during a rainy weather. Now we also have the type of cloth you wear also depends on weather. My friends in Karamoja don't dress up like me during day because it is too hot. You can sweat and sweat and sweat. So if the weather is too hot, determines the way you dress up. Now this was, I told you, it is really cold. That's why you see your teacher wearing a jacket, the one you call a coat, because the weather has forced me to cold this way. That's why even on some days when you are going to school or you are going out with your parents, you wear jackets or you wear light clothes depending on the type of weather. If it is a sunny day, you have to wear light clothes. If it is a cold day, you have to wear heavy clothes like jackets, like sweaters, like coats, and so many others. So how does weather affect people's way of dressing? You can simply say people wear light clothes during sunny weather, or people wear heavy clothes during cold weather. Are we together, my friends? That is how weather affects or determines or forces people to do things. Are we there? Now let's see what is going to happen in the next session. Session 2, we have gone to seasons. Do you know what a season is? Someone saying seasons, I've heard of it. Okay. Now, what is a season, my friends? What is a season? What do you think a season is? Let's go very fast. A season simply means a period of time in a year when same weather conditions are received. For some month, you find for some month it is raining, for some month it is a dry season. So that's what we call a season. A period of time in a year when we have same weather conditions. It can be rainy and it rains, you say, yeah, it is a rain season. Or it is shining almost on a daily. It rains once in a week or twice in a week. That can be a season. So a season can last for 3 or 4 months. Are we there? Now, what are the types of seasons we have in Uganda? In Uganda, we have only 2 types of seasons. And that is to say, the dry season and wet season. The wet season can also be called the rain season. Now, in some other countries, they don't have they don't call them dry season. Like when you go to countries like, I want to say the countries you like most, UK and America, they don't have dry seasons. Instead, they have winter and summer. Then when it is summer, it means it is now our dry season. Their dry season is called summertime. Then winter is their wet season. Now, for us in Uganda, we basically have dry season and wet season. Okay? As you can see here, this is wet season, the period of time of the year when we have rainfall. Okay? It's called wet or rain season. We also have this one. See, the crops, they have dried up because of the too much sunshine. So this period of time is known as dry season because it's a long time when you have the same condition, and that will be sunny, okay? And that is dry season. Now, my friends, people do activities depending on the season, okay? Like you can't begin planting when it is a dry season. So what do we do during different seasons? For example, when it is a rain season, what do people do? What do your parents do during rain season or wet season? Okay, let's compare with my answers. Now, these are the activities that people do. People plant crops, weed their crops, collect water, prune, and thin. Are we there? Now, as you can see, someone is planting. We normally plant during, because germination requires water. It requires water as a necessity. So we plant mainly during wet season. We also have weeding crops. As you can see, my friend here weeding. Which crop is this one? It looks like maize plant or rice plant. So we weed during wet season because it is the time when the weeds grow very fast. So it is also the time we have to go and weed them so that they don't compete with our crops and we get better yields. Are we there? We also, this one is pruning. We reduce excess branches on these crops or plants. When we reduce the branches, one, it reduces on the weight. Sometimes these crops are too heavy that they can even fall down, okay? So you have to go and prune in order to reduce the weight of the plant, also to reduce the competition, okay? We also have this one, collecting water. By the way, we collect water during during wet season because when there is sunshine or drought, we can just use this very water to irrigate our crops, to use at home, okay? So when it rains, don't just jump and play in rainfall. What do you do? Tell your parents to harvest. How do we harvest? We can use tanks, or we can also have ditches or valley dams where we can collect our water. Now we have thinning. Thinning is limiting the crops. You find sometimes during planting, crops are congested. So you have to go and remove some other crops. As you can see, this is how my crops were before, but after, they are now well spaced. Why do we do this? One, in order to get good or better high yields. Are we there? Reduce the competition. Here they are congested. They will compete for nutrients, and they may not end up putting on high yields. So we have to thin. Okay? Now we also have another session. We are about to finish. I told you we are going to be a little fast. Okay? What is in session 4? Activities done during dry season. What do we do during dry season? 1, we have digging or plowing land. We prepare land for planting our crops during dry season. We also have harvesting crops, as I told you the other time, that we harvest during dry season in order to allow our harvested crops to dry. Are we there? So we harvest during dry season. We also clear land, as I've told you, during dry season, and we dry our clothes during, this is during sunny day or sunny weather. Are we there? Yes, we can dry our clothes. Now, we also dry our yields. As you can see my friend here, drying his harvested rice. We dry. We want to remove that moisture from these harvested seeds so that we can keep them and they don't rot. Are we there? Yes. It's one way of preserving our food or our harvested crops. Now, I come to an end, and I have designed for you a very simple work or activity that everyone is going to enjoy. So there are only 6 numbers. This time round, they are not very many. I'm not going to read for you because I told you you are now big friends of mine. And wait a minute, the next lesson, and we see if you passed everything. Meet again.